Okay, let's just start recording.
Yep, very good.
Okay. Uh, so should we start it now?
Yep, as you like.
Okay. So, hello, Dr. Gabriel Gallardo. It's a pleasure to have this interview with you, and we just wanted to know a bit about in the following perhaps an hour just to get to know a bit about your experiences as a Catholic and also as a physicist, and also to talk a bit about perhaps your life and your experiences in Hong Kong U. So the first question is, as a Hong Kong U student and as a past member of the Catholic Society, could you share your experiences while studying here?
Wow, that's a big question. A lot happened. I joined Hong Kong U in 2012 to do my Bachelor of Science, and I decided to major in physics. I wanted to do physics because I was very interested in how the world works, and and I thought that the most fundamental study of how the world works is really in physics, right? Because you and my argument, it's a very bad argument, but I think the study of people, is really just biology, and biology is just applied chemistry, and chemistry is just applied physics. And so I thought, of course, physics is described using math, but math also describes things that are not really useful. So I decided to study physics. Um, yeah, and I had a good time. I did a 4-year degree. I spent one semester away in the US, and I also spent 2 summers in a research institute in Geneva. And this research institute studied something called particle physics, which is basically the most fundamental parts of nature, right? If you look at things that are even smaller than an atom, what are those things and how do they work together to create the universe that we understand? That was what I did my research in. Um, and Yeah, so I did 2 summers there. And after my degree, I did one more year of research assistantship at Hong Kong U before I left Hong Kong U to do my PhD. Um, yeah, well, what can I say? I spent most of my time either studying, doing my physics things, uh, or at with Katso, where I made really good friends, and I had it was a good time.
Mhm. So it's a general, perhaps the eagerness to sort out what really how the world works that perhaps draws you to your interest to physics to try and explain things, right? So that's really good here. So you mentioned a bit about your experiences overseas in Geneva. Perhaps would you mind sharing us a bit more details? Because we know there are in Hong Kong U, we have a lot of exchange opportunities, but also studying abroad. So what kind of like these experiences are very valuable. So what do these experiences and your experience in your time in Geneva mean to you?
Mm, yeah. So my time in Geneva was very important to me. Uh, but even before I went to Geneva, I did one semester in the US, and that was the first time that I ever lived outside of home. I didn't have my parents, my family, and I had to sort of figure out how to make food, how to get around, how to make friends. Uh, and I did, thank God. And then when I went to Geneva, it was even more special because in the US I had some family who could help me, but then in Geneva I didn't have anybody. But I had all these new friends that I made. The special thing about going to my research lab there was that everybody was from a different part of the world. So there were Americans, Italians, Germans, Chinese people, Indians, all sorts of people. And it was just so fun to be in a community where not only everybody was really smart about what they were doing in the physics and the engineering, but also they were really open about sharing how life was like for them. What was it like to live in India, in the US, in Italy? What's your food? What are your cultures? What's your language? And everybody was open to sharing that, and everybody was also open to learning these kinds of these kinds of things. Uh, and I think the general friendliness and also the brightness of all these people made that experience really special.
Right. So perhaps likewise, you also mentioned other than your time in Hong Kong, you studying physics, right? You also spend quite a lot of time hang out with your mates and doing activities and work in for Catholic society. I guess
Yeah.
it is also a very good place where we meet a develop friendship. So would you mind sharing us what the five is like back in the days when we're curious to know a bit more about what Catholic society is like and what it's like to to do these activities.
Yeah. The vibe. It was very interesting because uh at in my year, which was the 57th year of Katso, there we had the biggest committee ever. In fact, we were constitutionally allowed 15 members, and there were 15 people on the committee. So it was a big year. It was very active, very lively. I wasn't on the committee because I had other commitments, but I spent a lot of time with everybody. We had circles. Some circles were had better attendance than others. We had uh, Katso night at the end of the first term. We had LSG in over Lent. We had various retreats. I made a lot of friends through all of these activities. Eventually, I also helped out with the choir that does the FFM at Ritchie Hall, and uh, I also helped teach catechism class for one round. So from like was it November one year all the way until Easter, 2 years after that. Yeah, it's a good community.
Um, so as you mentioned, as you mentioned that you have participated for teaching one catechism class, and it's quite good for us because this year, after the pandemic, we just started the actually 3 years of stopping about catechism, and this year just starts the new one. So can you share some experience, your past experience during your old catechism class?
So the experience for me it was quite strange. So I was born Catholic, and I was also my parents are born into a charismatic community. So we're very much in on the spectrum of Catholics who are more about the intelligence and more about the mystic side. We're more on this side, on the mystic side. So coming into catechism class where I had to teach, things that I thought I knew, it was very difficult because I found out that even though I knew a lot of things, I didn't know them well enough to teach. And for me personally, it was also difficult because my own native language is English. And while I can do my studies and make friends and write essays in Chinese and Cantonese, to do that in a teaching capacity was challenging to say the least. But we managed somehow. So there were maybe about 5 of us who were students who were teaching, and there were 3 people who were more senior, who were sort of Katso alumni from maybe 10 or 15 years older than us, who also helped, who had run these classes before, and they guided us, the younger teachers, on how to do these classes. So I was very grateful for their help in designing the lessons and saying things. And I think for me, it was really the first experience when I tried to share my faith in that way. I was kind of stupid and very kind of hormone, very, very yaowan at the time. I only learned to appreciate that later in life. Yeah.
Perhaps I wanted to ask a bit more further into this catechism class. Guess what got you motivated in the first place to teach? Is it mainly just a way, a channel to share your faith, or was it something more of a broader motivation to spread it to others, or was it another way to as a way to a method to explain what's going on and how the world works in this sense, in this capacity?
It was nothing so high-minded. It was more like there was this thing that needed to be done, and my best friend at the time wanted to do it, and I wanted to spend time with my best friend, so I decided to do it with them. Yeah. It's very simple, it's just friendship.
So, so next category, I want to ask about your career and faith. So, can you share any kind of experience, especially when you after you graduated from HKU, you have studied in University of Oxford for your PhD. So, can you share some experience for your Catholic life, especially in the UK?
Yeah, so I think maybe I can share two things. The first is how did my faith help me at important parts of my career? And then the second part would be talking about, what is it like to be a Catholic here in the UK? So regarding the first thing is how my faith worked with my career is, so when I finished my bachelor's, I wanted to do research because after spending those 2 summers at CERN, and I was so happy, so excited, and I loved being around those people, that it was really very obvious to me that to do a PhD was what I wanted to do. And I didn't care about doing like a graduate scheme somewhere or being a software developer somewhere else. I just wanted to do the PhD. And that was my prayer. I want to do a PhD and I want to do it well. And I applied to several universities, and I got into 4, and one of them was Oxford. And I'm so thankful because in that experience, I think I was very grateful for the clarity of my own desires. You know, sometimes when we pray, we don't really know what we want, or we're very afraid to ask for what we want. But at least in this occasion, it was very clear to me what I wanted. And God also made it possible for me to go after the things that I wanted, right? He helped arrange one-on-one like Zoom meetings with professors at those universities so that I could talk about myself, my work, and what they wanted to do. And praise God that at every university where I got to talk to the professors, they accepted me. And then there's something wrong. And then praise God also that there was funding available for me at all of these universities. And to know that doesn't come to everybody, but you know, I'm super grateful. I did nothing to earn it. I mean, I was very good academically, but also just acknowledging that, I'm just a person. I'm just dust. I've come from dust, and to dust I shall return. But then God has given me this great opportunity to do such a wonderful thing. It's very good. And this sort of continual walking with me thing that God has done, it's not just when I applied for the PhD, but it also happened later after the PhD when I tried to look for jobs. I thought, okay, God, what am I going to do with my life? And basically, he, without very much effort on my part, he gave me this job where I'm at now, and it was a very good fit for my interests, for my situation in life, for where I wanted to go, and the people are great. So I'm very, very grateful that God has been taking care of me my whole career. As for what is it like to be a Catholic in the UK? So when I went to Oxford, there the kind of people who go to Oxford are fairly are a bit more traditional. They like their saint statues, and they like their incense, and they like their vestments, and they like traditional liturgies. So for me, this was a complete eye-opener. Again, coming from Hong Kong and coming from a more charismatic community where people were a bit more lax, right? To come here where people preferred to do not only Mass in Latin, but also to do the Tridentine Mass, the Latin Mass. It was completely like, oh my gosh. And it gave me some things to think about. Because certainly whenever we have discussions about tradition or Latin, let's say, right? I think about whether this thing is accessible, right? Like if I went to the Latin Mass as a 5-year-old, would I still go as a 29-year-old, right? I don't know. But they really, my friends here really opened up my eyes to the beauty of the liturgy and the wealth of history and heritage and poetry and symbolism in the church, in her writings, and in what she does. So yeah, being Catholic here has been different, but really good.
So perhaps I'll further with you the first part that we discussed about. You mentioned walking, perhaps appreciating that God has walked with you for your whole entire life journey. But I want to ask is, do you have any kind of moments or any challenges that you faced that perhaps your faith have helped you, or are there any other memorable moments or any obstacles or any anything some sort that, because I'm also doing research, and plenty of us are doing research as well. It is a tedious process, and sometimes there are let's just say it's quite daunting. So are there any tips and perhaps some insight on that?
I think for me, my biggest challenge at work has been the people. It's not really about the technical thing, because technical things, if you read, if you practice, if you ask, you'll sort of get the hang of it, and it takes time for everybody. But the biggest challenge has been really the people, and one of those people that I have challenges with is myself. Right. And I think this is where my faith really comes in. So I frequently have these thoughts of saying that, oh, I'm not fast enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, or I'm stupid, I'm worthless, And it's very easy for me to to have these kinds of feelings, partially because I have very high expectations of myself, but also being in the environment where I am, I'm surrounded by brilliant people who are doing brilliant things all the time. And it's very easy for me to say, wow, they're doing something amazing. Therefore, what I'm doing is not very good. And where the faith comes in is that reassuring voice. Firstly, to say that actually, Gabriel, you don't need to do anything to earn my love. There's absolutely nothing you can do to earn my love. You are worth it. You are loved. You are valuable, regardless of whether you do well in your studies, regardless of whether, you get addicted to drugs or whatever. And I'm not addicted to drugs, but let's just say, right, that God's love for me is unconditional, and it doesn't depend on anything that I do. And then the second thing that my faith tells me is that it reminds me of my worth, to really humbly say, actually, I have done this good thing. I have done that good thing. And to allow myself to be happy about it. Like, oh, I put out this paper. That's really good. Or I gave this presentation. That's really good. Right. I sometimes think about, oh, maybe humility is about saying, oh, no, it's fine. It's just a small thing. But that's not true. That's humility is telling the truth. And to be able to say that I did a good thing and I'm really happy about it is a blessing. And then the third thing that the faith gives me at work is the ability to look at my mistakes with compassion, to say, okay, I couldn't do this. Oh, but that's because I'm human, and that's okay, right? For example, a few days ago, I flew back from Vietnam. There's a 7-hour time difference. And at work, I was just not completely present, a little bit sleepy, and I couldn't think. And when these thoughts come, it's like, oh, Gabriel, you're useless, you're stupid. Well, that's not true. You can't think just because you're human, and there's a 7-hour time difference. You need to just relax, give yourself some compassion. You're still loved, and that's been very valuable to me.
Yeah, and it's I guess I have also another question with regards to the second part where you talked a bit about your perhaps experience with to getting to know a bit perhaps a more a newer phase of Catholicism, which is the perhaps the encounter with the Latin Mass and all that. So could you perhaps share with us perhaps some of your views on upholding tradition and how perhaps that helps with the faith, or is that is that something that kind of opposes your upbringing or the previous experience, and how does that kind of relate to your faith?
Yeah, so to frame this discussion a little bit more, again, I came from a charismatic background, and what this meant for me in practice was, well, going to Mass every Sunday. I went to Mass at St. Teresa's at 11, and then when I was older, like university age, I would attend the prayer meetings of my community, my charismatic community, which they're not liturgical, right? It's sort of there was some singing, there was some reading of the scriptures, there was some reflection, there was some communal prayers that were led by a prayer leader. And so for me, that was that was the normal way to practice my faith. And then coming here and realizing that actually the church has a lot of tradition. So for example, the Latin Mass, and inside the Mass, there's just so much that is very historical. There's so much ancient prayer, and it's so rich. You can find parts of the Mass that are the same since Genesis. And the Mass is just an evolution of the sacrifices offered by Melchizedek, the priest, in Genesis. But instead of offering just bread and wine, and instead of offering lambs like Moses did, we actually offer, in a sense, both in Jesus Christ, and this is a sacrifice that we make for our sake, for the sake of the church. And it's just so rich. So I think being here really helped me appreciate that a lot more. And it helped me appreciate other things like fasting, like praying the rosary, even though I still don't really like praying the rosary, but I appreciate it more. It helped me appreciate also different styles of music, older music, like Gregorian chant, or more meditative things, as opposed to the charismatics. They like a bit more rock like praise music, or more pop like praise music. So it's just a different experience. I think I do definitely miss, in a way, my experiences with my community at home. But I also see that it's just a different season in my spirituality. Like at that time, that was the opportunity for me to pray in that way. And then now at this time, the way that I pray is different. And the most important thing, right, is that you're still close to God, is that you spend time with him every day, that you're developing in your relationship with him, that you are turning away from sin and turning to God. And in some way, as long as you do that, and as long as you go to Mass, you go to confession, then the rest of it is really up to personal preference and personal circumstance. So, yeah.
Do you think that's well, being a scientist and also a faithful Catholic, do you think curiosity drives you both to the better way?
So this is interesting, because there is curiosity that is good, right? There's curiosity that asks, why am I here? Why is this world like this? And ultimately the answer that leads to God, right? That I am made by love, for love, to love. Maybe as a scientist, I'm a little bit biased, because the church tells me that is the conclusion. And so I'm trying to look for answers that lead me to the conclusion, rather than just look for answers and then find the conclusion eventually. But yeah, so there's that good part of curiosity of saying, okay, so what am I made for? What's my purpose in life? And what is this universe even? And I think studying the universe is a way of studying God. I haven't quite fully thought about the thought process, the thought path that leads from I'm studying particles to that's God, but I'm sure it's there somewhere. But there's also a curiosity which is not ordered towards God. And this I've seen in my life and in the life of some of my friends, which is curiosity towards evil. So curiosity towards, for example, pornography, or things of that nature, which is taking a good thing and twisting it to make it evil, right? And I think it's very natural, very human to be curious about things like this. But then also, as I say, it's a curiosity that doesn't lead to God, and one has to be quite aware and quite careful that they don't entertain these curiosities for the sake of their own souls.
So to add to that, because we're talking about curiosity, asking questions to get to know perhaps what really is the origin of life. So what do you perhaps think about reason and also faith? And also as a scientist, we work with the scientific method. But how does that also does that work in hand with the Catholic faith, or are there any pointers or advice as to how to discern or to separate these two matters?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in my experience, and that's because I work in particle physics and now quantum computing, we don't really touch questions. We don't really touch existential questions. And so in that sense, I'm free of that kind of doubt, because I can learn how particles work. I can learn how the quantum computers work without having to ask questions like, is there free will? Did God really make the universe? And all those complicated things. I imagine that if I studied biology, I would, and I know many friends, even if they don't study biology, they have these questions. But that hasn't really happened to me. I want to believe that our faith is reasonable. And I've studied my faith, not as much as some people, but it seems reasonable so far. And I think ultimately faith at some point has to appeal to an authority, right? So with a scientific method, you can do experiments to measure your environment, to test your theories, and you can invalidate your theories and come up with a new one. And the source of your truth is your experiment, right? But then when it comes to faith, eventually there's no experiment you can do. It's you have to eventually rely on the word of somebody that you trust. So it could be your friend, your parent, your teacher, your priest, or maybe even Jesus himself. And for me, that has really been the driver, my faith and my personal relationship with Jesus in prayer, that I can be able to come to him in prayer and tell him, this is happening in my life. I want this to happen. I'm feeling this emotion. And Jesus is there to give me what I need, to give me what I want, or maybe even not to give me what I want, but to tell me that there's something better for me and to tell me what's right and what's wrong. That ultimately has been what is behind my faith. I don't know if that answers your question.
So it's the kind of the trust and the openness to that God work in this miraculous ways to give you the direction.
Yes. I do. I don't know if you want to cut this out of the interview later, but I do admit that I am a little bit afraid of studying other religions. So, as a Catholic, I believe that Catholicism is the one true faith. But I'm also curious why other people think that their faiths are correct. We talk about the application of reason, right? At what point if I applied reason to the things that people of other religions think about, would I also find it reasonable if I wasn't Catholic, let's say? So that's a question that I personally feel in my faith not ready to answer.
Right. Okay. So as a physicist, also a physics student from HKU, I really want to ask about one very daunting thing, especially I think a couple months ago, the movie Oppenheimer has come out, and then people started to get a little bit more curious about what we are studying, well, especially about quantum mechanics. So a very in-depth question here is that the current theory, the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics is that every particle is not certain, deterministic, but instead of probability, and which Einstein has famously quoted that God doesn't play dice, and which is very famous that it creates his only flaw, the EPR paradox, right? And then it somehow makes especially those who are studying physics and also who are participating in Catholics, would think about, because now he's saying God does play dice, because the current theory says it does, and then there is probability. And do you think that, especially in this sense, the smallest thing, that God has limited his power to subatomic level?
Okay. So firstly, the quote, I don't quite, I confess that I have not studied very much the context of that quote. So I understand he's talking about quantum mechanics, but then, what are the other things that he said before and after that contextualize the statement? I don't know. And without knowing that, I'm really tempted to say, what does Einstein know? Einstein's not God, and Einstein himself is a scientist, and if he follows the scientific method, then he has to follow the scientific method, right? And as you know, this EPR paradox is found to be violated, right? That Einstein was wrong, and the quantum mechanics really is not an incorrect description of how the world works. And when it comes to quantum mechanics, let's say it from two perspectives. One, you made a reference to saying that, why does God choose to have this probability here? Why would that be limiting his power? Maybe one possible answer is, why not? If this is something which God decides, I think the universe would work better if this was probabilistic, then surely that's within his power to allow to be probabilistic. That's one thing. And the other thing, on a macro scale, actually the probabilistic behavior of quanta doesn't matter at a macro scale. It matters in aggregate, but it doesn't matter at a macro scale. So, for example, if you had a polarizing filter, so you're a physicist, right? You would understand this. If you had a polarizing filter in between your eye and some unpolarized light, half of the photons would go through, right? But then, does it matter to you which half?
Does it matter? It doesn't.
Doesn't matter. Exactly. So in a way, the quantum phenomena that we see in aggregate, like, it is important that, let's say, half of the electrons go this way, half of the electrons go that way, but it almost doesn't matter what happens to each individual electron when for most things. But you could ask the question, what if it does matter that my individual photon goes through the filter, it doesn't go through? Or what if it does matter if the electron goes left or right? Then that's probabilistic, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's just how the world works.
Because, well, especially those who are a little bit familiar about like the history of science and also Catholicism. Mostly the natural science is started in like Newton's age or Copernicus and Galileo's age. He's finding like, oh, everyone are praising God that, oh, now there is a mathematical description of everything, and then God is so beautiful that we can find the patterns of the universe. And suddenly when quantums comes out, and then the interpretations, oh, we have to find a wave function, and then everything is probabilistic, and then suddenly it's like we lost the deterministic view of the whole thing. And then you're saying, if God allows me to do, why it's limited us to probability? And then we are not that really understanding the whole picture of that. And then especially when the Bell's inequality comes out, and then the imperial paradox got falsified, and then people started to really concern about why it's deterministic, and then why it's not, and then if there is some, like, especially people start to emphasize about the butterfly effect also, there's a little bit, if there is a very small amount, of course, in physical sense is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. In that small scales, of course, is not that in macro scale doesn't really matter, especially when you're talking about Planck scales. But now it does matter, because this give birth to quantum computers and things that really does matters. And then it seems like it changed the whole nature, and then change about how we view God. Because in old days, we perhaps think about God is if we pray enough, and then God allows you, and you will have.
Okay, so there's actually quite a lot to unpack there. So if I may first clarify a statement that you made, which is that quantum mechanics now means physics is no longer deterministic. So that's not a completely true statement. Particles will always behave deterministically according to the laws of quantum mechanics. So if you have an ensemble, a collection of particles, and you put them through the equations, what you will see is that they will obey the probability distribution that the equation says that they will obey. And in fact, this was my PhD for 4 years, to study that probability distribution. The question then becomes, okay, so what drives that probability? Or what makes, let's say, that individual electron, if it can decide to go left or right, what makes that individual electron decide to go left and decide to go right? I think that is the interesting question. I think from a physics perspective, when you follow the equations, you see that, I mean, that is a choice that is presented to it. But physics, of course, doesn't tell you who or what makes that decision in the end. But then to extend that from, okay, so maybe at the quantum scale, God plays dice or allows the universe to play dice. What does that mean for my relationship with him? And firstly, to think about God as someone to whom, oh, I pray a lot and then good things will happen for me. That's not actually how God works, right? God is your creator, your master, your king, your best friend, your father. And at different times in different prayers, you play those different relationships out. right? Like you would ask your best friend for support in some way, you would ask your father for support in another way, and then you would respect your king in a different way than you would respect your friend or your father. And to me, it is not clear how the behavior of quantum sized systems, and whether that's probabilistic or not, has anything to do with what my relationship with God is like, and whether he loves me, whether he takes care of me, whether he intervenes in my life whenever he sees that he needs to intervene. And I think another perspective is that God, he works in ways we cannot see. There's mysterious, right? The wisdom of man is the foolishness of God, and as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is the Father's love, so great is the Father's wisdom and knowledge over us. So maybe there's a link there between, there's this probabilistic quantum stuff, and maybe God is deterministic and has a will. But what is that link? That's not a link that I believe we can fully understand. And it's not a link that we can presume to understand. It's almost as if these are two different shades of the truth. And in our limited human capacity, that's all we can ever understand, at least at this moment.
Perhaps may I take a step back to ask a more general question?
Yeah.
What is the kind of the significance of the relationship between perhaps science and religion? And also, what do you have any advice to say to those to people who are scientists who strictly or limits oneself to believing what they see as evidence or data in front of them, and how can we help them to perhaps approach to help them get closer to God?
Right. So that belief, I think, is called materialism. Not materialism in the sense that, I need things to be happy, but more in the sense that there's nothing to believe except for what's in front of me, or maybe empiricism, right? That I only believe what I see through my experiments. So as we discussed before, eventually I think faith has to have some appeal to an authority that for example, in the Bible, right, we never have this situation where people come to believe God because of some experiment that they do, right? There's always some sort of relationship. God reveals him. God and Adam know each other on a personal level, and every one of the biblical heroes has some sort of relationship to God. And even the heroes who, even in the stories where God doesn't show up, like in the story of Ruth or in the story of Esther, God doesn't say anything in those stories, but you see them pray. You say, God, I'm in the situation, can you help me out? And God does, and that is an expression and a fulfillment of their faith, right? And so to people who, for people who only believe experiments, only believe data, or only believe in the material and that there's nothing beyond it, it would be very difficult for them to be open to God. It would be very difficult for them to convert. But what I can say, right, is that surely they believe in experiments, they believe material, but they believe they're friends, right? It's like if your friend told you, oh, this ramen place is really good. You've never tried it, but you believe them, and then you go, and that experience is then verified by your own experience, right? And so maybe that is the way, through friendship, that if all of us here can say to our friends, hey man, I know a really awesome way to live life. Why don't you try it out? And let them experience it for himself. Jesus, in fact, says in the Gospels, right, when he calls the apostles, they ask him, oh, where are you going? What does Jesus say? Come and see. And that's the call that we can make to everybody.
Right. So
Yes, about.
yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
And so thank you, Dr. Gallardo, for attending this interview and allowing us to ask such some very good question, also some sophisticated questions for you. Do you have any words for our current students from HKU, especially Catholic students?
Right. I would just say, to really keep praying. It is so important that you touch base with God every day, that you talk with him every day. Earlier this year, I tried to have 1 hour in prayer in a church every day. It was very hard. I couldn't do it. But that time, those 3 months that I had trying to do it, was so fruitful for my life. And I have so many blessings from that. I had more friends. I was happier. My job started to go well. And I became more secure in my identity as a loved son of God. Super grateful. And I'm not sure I can make that same commitment again, but I really want to. So that's my words to you, is to really try to find, if not an hour, then half an hour, if not half an hour, then 15 minutes, if not 15 minutes, then 5 minutes a day, to just focus that time on God and your relationship.
Thank you for your insights, and God bless.
Thanks for this interview. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.